A Georgia pastor is making headlines after he gave a sermon about the hypocrites in his own religion. Now, this is a sermon that he did in regard to the Supreme Court legalizing same-sex marriage, and I love what he has to say. Take a quick look.
On one hand, you quote homosexuality is an abomination from Leviticus, but you say that right after you ate some shrimp, some catfish, and some lobster. You quote Leviticus while you're wearing a wool blend suit. It's also in Leviticus that you shouldn't wear mixed linens. It's in Leviticus that if your wife is on her cycle, that you shouldn't go in the same house with her or even sleep on the same bed with her. That's in Leviticus too. Here's my point. We pick and choose the scriptures that we want to use to beat folk up with, rather than look at our own lives. Let me tell you something. If God wanted to judge America, he wouldn't need the Supreme Court system. If he wanted to judge America because of sin, he would judge me in '88 at the Freaknik in Atlanta. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, I don't condemn you, I don't judge you, I'm gonna preach Christ to you. Because you can't evangelize and antagonize at the same time.
Oh my God, I love this guy.
How powerful was that? It was so incredible.
This guy's my favorite guy in America. I was going to say my favorite pastor, but that's not even a contest, right? This guy's my favorite reverend since Martin Luther King Jr. I know I'm getting carried away. Okay. But look at the message that he has. Not only, of course, I like him because he's saying the same things I've been saying about shrimp for a long time. He's saying it much better, much more emphatic. But you can preach hate from the pulpit, which so many have done for so long, and get people riled up about that hate. Or you can preach love from that same pulpit and get people riled up about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dewey Smith, amen. Amen, brother.
I know. I love that. I love that because it shows you something that we talk about in terms of a caveat, but I don't think we emphasize enough. There are so many religious people in America that are not fundamentalists, that genuinely do believe in preaching love, that genuinely do use their religion for good acts, right? They want to feed the needy. They want to make sure that they look out for their fellow humans. Like that's what they care about. And he represents that. And I love that he's getting attention for it. He deserves it.
And two lines I just blew me away. The very last one, he said, you can't evangelize and antagonize at the same time. So, and look, he comes from the House of Hope in Atlanta and the House of Hope Macon, right? So not living up to that name of House of Hope. And then the one that kind of haunted me a little bit, that was not in that tape. He said, we have done what the slave master did to us. That is super powerful, right? You turn people against one another. You get people to hate using the Bible, which he's absolutely right. You look back at the history of it and the facts, and the slave master did use the Bible to say you should know your role, you should know your place, because in the Bible it does say, in the Old Testament, that the slaves must obey their masters. Even if the masters are cruel and wicked to them, they must obey them, okay? And they must obey them in every way. And he's like, now you want to take other parts of the Bible that are hateful and use it against other people? Oh, no, not in my house. This is a house of hope. Oh, I love this guy. I love this guy. Now, it doesn't mean that I agree with him on religion. It doesn't mean any of that, right? But here's how we can have disagreements and still love each other, right? And still go towards the same path.
Yep.
And so if this is how religious people were, we'd all get along great. Emphasize the love, not the hate.